stomping through, changing the plugs on old Corvette here. I apologize for all the sniffling. We've had a ton of dust and smoke in Colorado, and my allergies are just absolutely trash, so I apologize for that ahead of time. And I pulled one out of this side over here on the driver's side that looked a bit lean. Where is it at? I don't know where it went. It was one of these plugs. Looked really white. I was like, well, what could that be? It could be a fuel injector not doing its job, or something's weird. So I was like, I'm gonna pull all these injectors out, look at them, dump them upside down, make sure there ain't no trash in them. And the first one that I pulled out, was shocked. And then so I went and took the rest of them out, and the same story on the rest of them. They all have this, I guess this motor hasn't been together that long at all. They all have this sludge on them. Not real sure where that's from. Every single one of them. One did not have it. This one. This was number 8. It didn't have it. Is this from not venting? I'm not sure, because these are in the intake runner. So I'm pulling the intake off as we speak. I've got the vacuum out and vacuumed out the valley cover here, and about to get my long extension, and I'm gonna bust this intake off real quick. Don't really know what's going on here, but as soon as I get this intake off, I'm sure it's gonna show its face. It may not be sealing real good around here. I don't know. None of these feel loose. I'll know when I stick the ratchet on to pop it open. I'm not real sure if that's trash getting in there. I never had no vacuum leaks. Not real sure where that sludge is coming from. I got one oil change on this motor since swapping all these injectors and stuff in here. Probably like 3,000 miles. So I'm not really sure where that buildup came up on those injectors like that. That all should be clean air running through there. So not real sure what that is. Hope I'll be able to figure that out, and hope I didn't ruin these brand new injectors. I soaked these injectors and got these things looking brand new again. It was just built up on the outside. Nothing was going through them, so hopefully just getting that sludge off the ends, they'll be all right on the inside. All right, I'm real sure I know where this oil's coming from. I don't think it's so much these bolts, because I really don't think these bolts go down that far. I think it may be the rocker bolts, because when it gets hot, it could be leaking oil down the rocker bolts. So I'm gonna pull all them rocker bolts back out again on the ones that protrude through the intake port, because if you know anything about ported heads, the rocker bolt comes, the intake rocker bolt comes right down through into the intake port. So I'm gonna pull these valve covers back off one more time. Put sealant on those rocker bolts, zip those back down into there, and then we're gonna clean the intake up. I haven't done that yet. Still need to clean the intake up. We're gonna zip this thing back together, and hopefully that fixes the issue. I'm gonna Permatex all of these as well. So all the intake studs, I'm gonna do those also, and hopefully that'll take care of our oil in the cylinder issue. I'll run some 91 through this thing, and hopefully it cleans that intake valve up and gets that sludge off of it. Let me see if I can turn my light on here. See if we can see this on camera. But that intake, this bolt hole right here, let me turn the camera sideways. It goes all the way through into the intake runner. Every cylinder has an intake runner bolt going through it, and you have to seal those up. I thought I sealed them up good enough, and now thinking that may be my issue this whole time was that, and this got hot and it let that go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reseal all these bolts. I already threw sealant on the intake bolts. I don't think it was those. I honestly think it was these the whole time, and it was just running down. I'm gonna sauce that whole hole right there and then thread this thing in there. So I think that'll take care of my issue. once I do that, we're going to stick this thing back together and go for a drive in it, and then see how it does. Probably come back home and then pull the plugs and make sure there's no oil in the plugs, and pull 1 or 2 injectors and make sure no injectors are leaking again. And then as long as we get this dialed out and get this issue done, and there's no issues, the injectors check out, we'll go ahead and I'll stick to the plan on spraying this dude. Alright, I got this junk back together. I sealed all the bolts. I had to put the battery back in it to turn it over to do a couple of the bolts because it was on the, looked like it was on the intake stroke, and the intake bolt was all the way down. The rocker bolt was, so. But I've got it pressurized now, and I've been checking for leaks. I had a small little drip right here. Doesn't look like I have anything anymore. I went and got the correct Permatex thread sealant that I googled. I guess that's what you're supposed to use on the. So I'm gonna cranked it over. It spun. I'm gonna get my tools off of it, start it up, and run it, and probably let it sit here and idle and warm up for a second. Make sure I don't have any leaks, and then retorque the intake bolts and double check the leaks one more time, and then I'm gonna go take it for a ride and make sure nothing else. Probably take it for a ride, then pull a plug and make sure I ain't got nothing funky on none of the plugs. Here's my little bottle heater deal that I've got here. It just takes a Makita 18-volt battery, put it in there, turn it on, and that puppy gets hot real quick. So that's got a fuse, a relay, power source, and your blanket. Not much more you want. I didn't want to go, and I'm not gonna have nitrous on this car much. Once I throw the turbo on it, it's probably not gonna get nitrous on it for a little bit, so I didn't want to wire another relay on the car and all that crap. I just wired it all to there. That way I wouldn't have to bring it to my battery. And I'm just gonna mount that on my console somewhere where it won't flop around, where I can just reach back into the corner right there, flip it on, done deal. Heat my bottle up. That way it'd be a simple heater install where I ain't gotta run wires down from the battery to a relay, to a switch, to the heater in the back. All this took not much at all, and I can always just cut that off and later on and reuse my relays and stuff. Very cheap to make. Alright, I started this thing up and drove it around the neighborhood and came back home, turned it off. I'm gonna go through the tune on it and pull some fuel out because it's way over fueling now. It's pulling like I think I was trimming like 15 to 20% whenever I fired it up. I was driving around when it normally is be right on the money. Yeah, so with those injectors being open now, it's getting plenty of fuel down low. At wide open throttle, it seemed to be still right on the money. It was pulling like 2 or 3%, which was about where I had it. But idle and cruising, it was definitely over fueling now and pulling. It was definitely trimming some fuel out. So that leads me to believe that they've been like that for a while. I got all 8 of them, those bolts Permatex up. I also did the intake bolts. I don't think those are passed through at all, but I did it just for shits and giggles. No fuel leaks. I drove it for about 20-30 minutes. No fuel leaks, no oil leaks. It runs way smoother, way crisper. Sounds a little bit different even whenever you get on it. Wind's crazy. Yeah, it sounds a little bit different when you get on it, and it definitely smells cleaner. Before it smelled like just an old work truck, like just a old 305 Chevy that had 3. So yeah, I definitely call that some unseen issues that I had going on. Probably my fault for not putting enough sealant on it, but it is what it is. Really sucks that I didn't get to spray this thing down, but probably a good idea that I did it with that sludge issue going on. I still don't know if it's still happening. I'm gonna go run the dog crap out of this car and check it here in a few days and see. Tomorrow's gonna be really nice, so we'll probably get it out tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to do some digs on it, maybe like some 1/8 mile digs. I got some different mounts for inside for my GoPro for a little better angle. Last time I went out in it, I know my camera jacked up, so I got my camera and mic dialed right now, so as long as the GoPro does what it's supposed to do and doesn't act up, we'll go and drive that thing around tomorrow and get some videos. I think I'll just pull the intake again here in a couple of days of driving it and look down in there and make sure it's as I left it. I got it hot and retorqued the intake, so hopefully that'll do it. Yeah, appreciate y'all for watching this. I know it's not what I wanted the video to be, but that's what it turned out to be. So maybe next time I make a Corvette video, I'll be doing some pulls in it on motor. Not gonna spray it right now, and probably gonna work on the 5.3 here soon too. So got any questions, leave them down in the comments for me. Kind of tired right now, bummed out, but it is what it is. Kind of want to go wring its neck, but we might do that tomorrow. That's gonna be the end of this one. Appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.